the heck are you guys? Welcome to a guide on Numera, arguably the single best single target magic DPS in all of Watcher of Realms. That might feel like a mouthful to say, but it's actually a pretty broad, very important class that she leads. Single target magic damage, she is an absolute queen. She doesn't just bring a huge amount of damage, she synergizes brilliantly into the poison team, which is one of the strongest teams in the game. You're gonna see that featured in the video. And she brings a huge amount of burst damage, which is really relevant when you need to do something like pop a shield. That is very essential in Abyss 1, and that is the content we're going to take her into today and really show her off. And also just killing a big enemy all at once, that's huge. So this amount of damage, this amount of burst, this amount of synergy within her team comp, the poison comp, whether that be as a piercer or more commonly as an esotericist unit, is phenomenal. All right, guys, this video was a lot of fun, so I hope you really appreciate it. And if you do, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and give the video a big thumbs up. Click the like button. These videos are fun. They're really cool to make. They take an enormous amount of time and a very long time to edit as well. So if you appreciate it, just hit that subscribe button and you'll really help us out. So what are we getting up to in today's video? Well, I want to keep things as tight as possible. I want this as streamlined as possible. There is going to be a lot of testing. We'll try to fast forward as much of that as we can. But all in all, I want to find out how good is she. I want to teach you guys exactly how her kit works, and then I want to experiment with her different awakenings. I've got her A1 right now. I will say, going from A0 to A1 is great. I do apologize, guys. I awakened her to Awakening Level 1 months ago, so we can't compare A0 to the rest of these. But I'll tell you, just from experience, going from A0 to A1 increases her damage between 18 and 20%. I've tested it out on other accounts. I tested it out myself when I did it. I just never made the video. The key thing is going to be comparing this A1, which is pretty easy to achieve. That's just one Numera and one dupe. I really want to know how that stacks up to the A3. The A3 is phenomenal. In certain content, it is completely broken because she shreds a huge amount of magic defense, but in her most popular content, Abyss 1, the magic defense is already really low. So how impactful is this? Spoiler alert, it's going to be very impactful, but is it going to be that impactful? That's the real question, because frankly, A0 and A1 Numera are already two insanely strong versions of this hero. Whether you have no awakenings or just one, she's gonna get the job done. I use my A1 Numera to get 60,000 every day in Abyss. It's more than enough. She doesn't even come close to struggling with the shields. However, we wanna see A3, probably you wanna see A4 and A5, so I've got a bunch of dupes. You can see I've got 4 extra copies of Numera I've picked up over the past few months, and we will get in here and we will see how much she gets boosted with each awakening. If I pop this open, I've already prepared this chart for you guys. This will be a great way for us to compare her growth. I'm going to do 2 runs at each awakening level just to control for certain amounts of variance that might come up. We'll take the average and then we'll see how we grow. Going from A1 to A3, going from A1 to A5, and then finally here you'll see going from A3 to A5. It should be really nice, but there's a lot to do, so let's hop into it. I have done this once before for another hero about 2 weeks ago. You can see 13 days ago I did this with Kagiri. The results were insane, so if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's very fun, and you can find it in the description in the top pinned comment. His damage went up by a truly mind-boggling amount when he went from A2 to A3. Like, it was insane. Go check it out. I'm also going to heavily feature this comp. You can check out this guide if you want. This is actually the comp I use every day. Shout out to my friend Pudge who came up with it. This is using Malric instead of a second Nightmare Watcher fighter. So you can swap out Kagiri for Malric, or you can swap out Sun Wukong for Malric, and Malric's going to boost the remaining fighter to levels that enable you to only need one. So I'm just going to use Kagiri. In this example, we just used Sun Wukong. Cool stuff. All right, to Numera, let's get into it. How exactly does she work? Let's go through it pretty quickly. She has a very interesting talent. Every time she does any basic attack, she gains something called a Grim Thorn Spike. Now, the Grim Thorn Spike itself kind of doesn't do anything, but there are 2 ways it helps you tremendously. When she ults, she does shoot them, and that's damage. So I guess that's the most active thing they do. But also, when she hits her cap, when she hits the maximum amount of spikes that she can have, which is 4 at any point outside of her ultimate, then she kind of goes to a special mode where she can start doing special Grimthorn spikes and doing special things. So you can see here, every basic attack will grant 1 Grimthorn spike. So it doesn't take very long to reach the 4 spikes you need to be at max outside of the ultimate and then have all the cool things happen. You can see here in the second sentence, they do explain that this effect effect can maintain a maximum of 4 Grimthorn spikes at once. They're saying this effect because they're talking about the talent effect. During her ultimate, she can get 2 extra spikes. That's why when you look behind her, you see 6 spikes. Why is there a 7th levitating in her hand? We will never know. If we go to the third sentence here in the talent, when having 4 Grimthorn spikes, every 2 basic attacks launches 1 extra Grimthorn spike, but she's not going to keep this one because she's at max stacks. So when you're at those max stacks, every other hit, she's going to additionally launch a Grimthorn spike. So she's shooting it at the enemy. It's going to deal 400% damage. It inflicts 1 stack of poison, and it gives her 40 rage. That's all so good. Tons of extra damage. Very consistent poison, so she can get closer to 10 stacks at all times. That's the max number of stacks one hero can put on an enemy when it comes to poison. And then the clutchest part of this, especially for Abyss 1, where you want to cycle her ultimate as much as possible, every other basic, once she has those 4 Grimthorn spikes, is going to give her 40 rage, because every other basic is going to shoot a bonus spike at the enemy. So effectively, if you average that out, first basic gives her no extra rage, second basic is going to come with a spike, so that gives her 40. Third, nothing. Fourth, 40. So the rage just comes and comes. On average, every basic attack is giving her 20 rage. She has a pretty low ult cost here of 900 given how OP it is. So effectively, at the attack interval you build upon her, so depending on how much attack speed you put on her, when you take down that basic attack interval, equal to that time, you're going to be getting 2.2% rage. You can think of it effectively as a rage regeneration over time effect. I know I'm getting a little mathy, a little complicated, but if we look at this Numera build here that I've made, that's actually very good, 524 attack speed, only hunting for attack speed in the substats is really nice. 1.3 second attack interval. Every other basic is giving 40 rage. Once she has created 4 Grimthorn spikes, every other basic is going to generate 40 rage. So effectively every basic on average is 20 rage. Every 1.3 seconds, she's getting 2.2% of her rage. 20 divided by 900. That's a lot, but trust me, it was worth explaining because it's remarkable. That wraps up the talent. I know it's slightly complicated, but it is one of the strongest talents in Watcher of Realms history. The basic attack is very simple. When you've got her built up, she's got that classic hammer range. She's got 1 tile to the right, 1 tile to the left, then 3 in front of her, and then 2 more down the middle. We see this with many units: Valara, Arrogance, Sealatu, Araka, Absin, the list goes on and on. When she ults, she fills out that rectangle. Basic is very standard. Let's go to the ultimate now, though. She's gonna gain 2 extra spikes, so that's how she can get up to 6. In theory, maybe this doesn't bring her to 6, but as long as she's been hitting anything over the past while since she was last ulting, she will have 4, and this will bring her to 6. And this is very cool because once she gains those 2 extra, she's then gonna rapidly launch all her Grimthorn spikes to random enemies in front after charging for a short period. Period is 3 seconds. She's gonna shoot 6 spikes. It's 520% damage each. Let's do some quick math. I'm pretty sure that comes out to 3,120% damage. It is a huge burst, and once you see her passives, you're gonna see it's even stronger than you think. Additionally, each one of those spikes is gonna add an extra stack of poison. So if she wasn't already at 10, you're getting another 6 stacks. So if she was at 4, you're up to 10. 5, you're up to 10. 6, you're up to 10, so on and so on. You're gonna have more than 4 stacks, so it's not even worth mentioning if she was at 3, 2, 1. But you can add 6 to that and figure it out yourself. We go to the first passive. This is the best part of her kit. This is the most crucial part of her kit. And this first passive, Poisonwood Branch, is actually the reason she is the key to the poison comp and why she is arguably a top 5 to 10 non-lord unit in this entire game. So when she triggers Nature's Wrath, that's the ultimate, by the way. When she triggers that, those specific Grimthorn spikes can inflict stun. You can't inflict stun that quickly, so it's just 1 stun. You don't get 6 stuns, but it's a 1.5 second stun. That's pretty clutch. Most importantly, though, by a mile, this is what brings her to the next level. When at least 4 Grimthorn spikes hit the same target in a short period, that's what happens during the ultimate. It's going to be 6 on almost any occasion, but basically it will always be 4, as long as she's hit anything since her last ultimate, right? As long as she's done 4 basic attacks since her last ultimate, the ultimate will be 4 or more. So when she does that, she's going to trigger 1 instance of Toxic Surge. Don't overthink it. Toxic Surge is a poison explosion. She fully activates all the poisons that are currently available, popping each one for 5% damage per stack. It's so strong. So she's stacking poison. You have other poisoners like Vorn, Nastia, Araka, Vexera, so on. They're all stacking poisons depending on the comp you're running. She pops it all. It is Looney Tunes damage. It is the biggest burst of damage. It is such a chunk out of a shield. However you want to use it, it is phenomenal. The final passive, very underrated, Nature's Grasp. Each Grimthorn spike, and these are any of her spikes, the ones she triggers from her talent, the ones from her ultimate, they will inflict 2 debuffing effects. We've got Grimthorn Roots, which in certain content is extremely strong. This is a unique form of damage over time where she is dealing continuous true damage equal to 30% of her attack per second. You can have 6 stacks to this. So imagine 180% true damage per second scaling off of her attack, which should be very high if you build her well. And then most importantly, she's putting out damage reduction. So she's getting a big version 30% damage reduction every time she ults. That will last on the enemy for 6 seconds and every other basic when she's at full stacks. It is a tremendous amount of uptime. If you compare the uptime and reliability of her damage reduction to her counterpart in the Infernal comp, which would be Lord Phineas, when he has his exclusive artifact, she is so much better. Outside of that, she's already so much better, but her uptime is so reliable, it's so easy to deal with. Someone like Lord Phineas, it's an enormous headache. So there you go, that is Numera. We've got a few awakenings to break down, and then we're heading straight into the testing, straight into the gameplay. Her A1, as I talked about, it's very good. I already have it. It's going to increase the damage during her ultimate by 25%. The second part really doesn't matter. The damage dealt by the Grimthorn spikes, both inside and outside of her ultimate move, and the damage dealt by Toxic Surge, the big poison explosion, those will be guaranteed critical hits. Now, is that cool? I honestly don't think so. If you're a very young account, that could be good, but anyone else, even like the late early game, early mid game, she's gonna be one of your best characters. You are gonna build her with 100% crit because you need that happening all the time. This is just not that significant outside of the very early part of the game. The first part is though, because during the ultimate, with that damage increase, that lines up with the Toxic Surge damage as well. So you are getting a big extra multiplier, both on the 6 spikes when they hit, that is 3,120% damage, and most importantly, the pop of the Toxic Surge, because that lines up too. So this is really nice. It's not gonna be as big as you think. It's not gonna actually be like straight 25%, because it's just a stack on top of all the other damage boosts she's getting, but like I said, it's 18 to 20%. The A2, plus 300 attack, that's really nice. She is a fighter, but a magic damage dealing fighter, and they tend to have lower attack. She's on the higher side, but she's not super high. So a 300% increase off of a base attack of 4821, let's actually do a little quick maths here. You can see that is going to be an increase of, yeah, not too shabby, 6.2%. So that is pretty relevant, and that's definitely something you're happy to pick up. It will be relevant in all content, but it'll be most relevant in content like Semra, where the magic resistance is super high. Another thing that will be very relevant in Semra is her most powerful awakening, A3. It is going to be very relevant everywhere though, especially boss fights, because any level of shred of magic defense or defense, physical defense or magic resistance, that's this high is going to be game-changing. So once she gets A3, whenever she's attacking any enemies, she will ignore 20% of magic resistance as a baseline. She's shredding 20% magic defense as a standard. Then every time she ults, every time she triggers Nature's Wrath, she will get an extra 5% that she can ignore, and you can trigger this 5 times. So after ulting 5 times, she's ignoring an extra 25% magic resistance. In total, she will be ignoring 45% magic resistance. That is remarkable. It's nearly 50%. 45% is a huge number. At A4, she starts ignoring another 8% as a baseline, so she's shredding another 8% of defense or magic resistance. She doesn't deal with defense because she's a magic DPS, so this is magic resistance. It takes the baseline of this 20 to 28, and then it takes the improved version post-ultimates, post-5 ults. It's going to take it up to 53%, so she will be ignoring over half of the magic resistance. Really amazing. And then the A5, not exactly what you want to see for certain content, but very nice in general. She is going to heal herself for 20% of the true damage she's dealing over time from those Grimthorn roots. So it's very nice, but it's kind of like a cool to have. It's not really going to change her DPS in any way at all. It is going to allow you to use her in more content. in tankier ways. This makes her a lot more relevant in content like Malric's Halls of Illusion, but not so relevant for this video. We are still gonna A5 her because I want to, and it's gonna be a great way to test the A4. I think you understand everything now though, so without further ado, let's head into battle. This is the team we're gonna run here, so let me take a moment to make myself a lot smaller for the rest of the video so I'm not in the way of anything. You can see we've got most of a Nightmare comp. I'm only running 3 Nightmare units, but that's plenty. We've got Torador as our Lord and Tank. We've got Kagiri as our main physical DPS for all those physical phases. Ryzen is gonna help him out as well. Those two will duo. Then I've got Aelin here as my main healer. I've got Diao Chan as my inspiration unit. I've got Nastia as the key lord in our poison comp. Then we've got Vorn, one of the best poisoners in the game. And then we've got our 3rd triumphant member of the poison comp, Numera herself. Finally, Malric will deal a little damage and also provide a huge buff to Kagiri through his special Wizard's Rune. And then we've got Draylin for supplemental healing, and most importantly, AoE damage reduction. I have not yet A1'd my Nerissa. That will be a different video. So for that reason, I'm running Draylin. I also just love Draylin for this. My Draylin is A1 or higher. She's A2, and that means she can give an extra damage boost whenever she shields. So let's get into it. This should be pretty fun. This first run, we're gonna do all together. Then the second version of this test, let's pull this open now. You can see I'll just do that in fast forward mode. Then I'll show you guys the averages. For the A3 run, I'll probably set it up with you, but then just catch you at the end as we look at the initial damage. Then we'll do a full fast forward version for run 2. Same story, look at the growth, and then we'll do the same thing, rinse and repeat for A5. Let's get into it. Hopefully we get a nice clean run to start things off. I'll try to explain things like a guide, but most important, I just want to have a strong run and I want to give us some really good data. So first things first, let's take Numera here and place her down. Then I'm going to take Draylin and place her right here. Draylin is wearing Wings of Grace, so you can see Numera gets the Wings of Grace buff. I'm going to take my Kagiri now, and he's going to go here. Then we're going to take Diao Chan, and she's going to go right here, buffing Kagiri. She's also in Wings of Grace. Finally, we have got Ryzen over here. I'll put him right behind Numera. And I'm going to place Aelin. That's our final Wings of Grace unit. So you can see Ryzen also is getting that 12% buff. We got 3 of those. Now I can just go down the line and start placing people. I'm going to place Malric right here to make sure Kagiri's in his range. Then we've got Nastia. We got Vorn. Then we got Torador. And now we're switching Diao Chan to black mode. As soon as I can, I'm gonna already ult with Numera. It doesn't really matter ulting with Numera when it comes to dealing damage on this first phase, because this is the physical phase. However, by her ulting, that's going to give everyone a little boost on their Soulbound Arcana stacks, things like that. By the way, I'll show my Numera build at the end of the video. I think you'll really like it. She's wearing like some of the absolute best gear on my account. And then also, when she ults, it's not relevant to this test, but once we're at A3 and higher, this is going to be one trigger of the ult. That will grant her an additional 5% ignore magic resistance from her A3. So it's just going to be another step towards getting the 5 ult stun as quickly as possible and bringing her to that max of 45% ignore defense. Pop this open here. Got ult with Kagiri. Hopefully it triggers in time. I was just late, so we're going to restart. I'll leave it in. I make mistakes, especially when I'm over-explaining to the camera. All right, let's get all these guys down in real time. My mistake was not placing Kagiri first, so let's do that now. Boom. Chan, Mera, Draylin. This is the problem. It's defaulting to 2x for some reason. I got to change my settings. Let's flip Diao already just to be safe. Go Ryzen, Aelin, we've worn already, Malric, Nastia, and Torador. Let's flip Numera, and you can see now we got plenty of time. I don't know why it was defaulting to 2x. Boom, there's the 1x. Good, trigger. Now we're going to use Malric. He gives a little rage boost to Kagiri whenever he ults, and the ally he's giving the Wizard's Rune to does not have a full ult bar, does not have full rage. They're going to get 20% rage, which is great. This first phase doesn't matter too much for us today, right? Numera can only deal damage in the even number phases. That's when we have the magic rounds and we deal with the magic shields. And I'm only going to run this through phase 4, by the way, just to keep it consistent. No reason to bother with phase 5 and stuff like that. So we'll just stop right after phase 4 every time. Put on 1x here, still try to get something pretty good. We'll ult with Numera again, right? So now she's done 2 triggers. With Ryzen, he should be able to take the shield out mostly by himself. 10. Kagiri. Perfect timing. Now you can see we want Numera to come back around by the time we have 5 minutes, 22 seconds, so she's ready to go, and looks like we'll be good. I did miss a Draylen ult there for that shield with Ryzen. Doesn't really matter for what we're doing here. Definitely worth mentioning. As soon as we hit 22, we go Malric and then Numera. See, we got all these stacks. Vorn can put up 2 piles up to 10 stacks, so 20 of these are Vorns, 10 from Nastia, 10 from Numera. Now it begins. We're going to pop all these with the Toxic Surge and watch the damage. Numera's at 1.087, and we're going to pop those. Boom. 9.45, 10.6, just like that, right? Pretty awesome stuff. So with Numera, we're going to ult. The other guys we have to time out nicely. With Numera, we're just going to ult every time she's available. There will be some exceptions on the shield that I'll talk about, but right now we are good to go. So let's ult here. Perfect. Here comes the Meteoric Deluge. Let's go with Kagiri. Throw it on 1x. Where I'm talking about the exceptions with the shields are, if I can take down the shield without Numera, I want to save Numera because I want the Toxic Surge to pop during the vulnerability window, right? Not before it. No reason to waste that huge amount of damage on the shield if it was going to pop anyway. So let's settle in here. Let's ult with Draylen now. I'm going to pop the shield. As soon as that pops, let's check the stacks. So we're good to go because it's 10, 10, 10, and that 8 is Numera. When we throw those toxic, when we throw those Grimthorn spikes, we're going to get that up to 10 too. Let's ult with Numera, and you'll see we'll go Malric Numera. Look, we'll go up to 10. 10, pop, boom. Huge damage. Huge damage. We're gonna have to do another physical phase now. Go with Kagiri. And now we already have the triggers with Numera, but can't hurt to just place it. By the way, every time you ult with her, you're guaranteeing the placement of the damage reduction. This debuff over here, that minus 30% damage. So you can always time that out to be safe at special moments. So for example, if I didn't have the healing, right, and I was worried about being able to survive this Storm Surge, I could place it right now to make sure it went on. It did just get refreshed, so we're fine. It does get refreshed really consistently, but that's worth mentioning as well. Trying to give you as many little tips as we go. Go Kagiri here. I think we can cycle him back another time. We'll go with Malric right after for a Kagiri boost. We need to time this one out properly now. I want to get Draylen to boost Ryzen. Get Ryzen right when the shield's coming. Perfect. See what kind of damage he can put out. It's good. As long as we don't get screwed with Kagiri here, we're good to go. Got the trigger. Perfect. Crack that all up. You can see it's a pretty good amount of damage, right? For just 3 phases with this comp, even though we're, it's slightly unconventional with Malric and Draylen down there and all these things. I haven't awakened a lot of these units still. As soon as that goes, we're ready with Numera. Let's pop it. Let's see that jump. We're at 67.2, right up to 70.2. It's just 8 million damage like that. It's unbelievable. Really is. We're setting a really good baseline for her. I think we've got a shot at 100 million here. We can get 1 Malric trigger here. He'll come back around when we need him. With Aelin so we don't die. Excellent. Go Numera really quick. That's a little aggressive, but I think we've got it since we have so much magic damage. That's one of the beautiful things with Malric is like, can a well-built Nastia and Vorn take down this 4th shield, or at least most of it without Numera? Sure. With Malric, can we do it easily? Yes. And then we can really just focus on that Numera timing. Let's go Meteoric Deluge with Kagiri. I almost missed it. Throw it on 1x. Get ready with Draylen right when this shield's about to start. 1 more second. Boom. We're going to get that damage boost. If you don't know that damage boost from her A1, I'll show you right now. You can see this. It should be plus 25% damage. There you go. And it'll last a nice little chunk of time. Let's see how we tear through this. Very good. We don't even have the Malric ult. Let's just keep an eye on it. If we can get it done without her, we're going to do that. Looks like we can, so we will. And then the damage boost, is it still going? It should be just there right as we pop it. Perfect ult. Good. See this final big hit. 126. We hit for like 9 million there, so we got the boost. Now up to 130 million. Pretty phenomenal damage. Like, only Kagiri is significantly better at this kind of amazing stuff. So right when we hit 157 or so, when it switches over, that's where we're going to pause it and call it. When that text appears, we've now switched to the physical phase, and we can lock that in. A phenomenal first result for an A1 Numera. I realize some of you might already be really eager to see the build. I'll do a full breakdown of the build after all this testing, but I'll give you a little peek now. Before we do that, let's pull up the stats. We just need Numera here, 132.9. I'm going to round to the 10th here, 132.9 million. We can pop that in there. Excellent first result. For kind of controlling variance, I am going to do a second run within each test, as I explained, so I'm about to do that right now. Before I do, though, let's just take a little peek at the gear so you can get a sense of a nice way to build her. I did go out of my way to put her in some of my nicest gear, just so, we could really show her off. So she's in Soulbound Arcana. It's really going to be her best set. You could run her in Cataclysm and it would be very, very similar, but the benefit she gets from the Cataclysm ring is going to be lesser since she gets so much rage already. There is an argument if you're using Moradin, especially if he's A3 or higher, but if you're using Moradin at all, you might be able to get 4 ults off with her if you're using a Cataclysm ring, so that's something to think about. But otherwise, I think you just don't need it. Soulbound Arcana is great, and personally, my stats are better. So you can see nice quad, little HP bonus for tankiness, very high rolls on the attack speed and crit rate, very nice quad, one of the best pieces on my account. Here we've got a great quad, actually in a Nye piece I have with no crit rate, because we picked up so much crit rate elsewhere. That let us get an extra stat, which in this case was the attack speed, right? So instead of having to go attack bonus, crit damage, flat attack, crit rate, we picked up some huge attack speed, and then finally we got a standard quad here. She's still crit capped over those 4 pieces, and it's a very strong build. 22.363k attack. She's tanky enough, over 30k. 1.3 second attack interval. She's crit capped, almost 350% crit damage. No extra rage regen. She honestly doesn't need it. Like I said, maybe in a Moradin comp, you could start thinking about getting 4 ults off, but otherwise, I just think this is the way to build her. For the artifact, her best in slot's the Shattered Hilt until she gets an exclusive. We have some nice augmentation here, plus 3.5% attack bonus. Just a really good single target damage. She will be at an increase of 30% damage by the time the first magic phase comes along, so you get the full benefit of this artifact. Pretty awesome stuff. All right, let me run the second round of this test. We'll pick it up at the end, put in the numbers, and then we'll A3 her. All right, here we go, rounding it out at the end of that attempt. Very similar number, 127.8. So that will conclude test 1. Let's log that and let's get to some awakening. Let's pull that exact number, 127.8. Very similar, just 5 off, so a little less than 5% difference. I think she just missed the damage boost with one of those Aelin things, so that's the problem. Let's actually move this over here. That was incorrect. There we go. So that's her damage testing at A1. We can take the average very quickly. We can see, excellent. It's going to come out to 130.35. This stuff will all get updated properly once we put in the A3 and A5 damage. So let's get that A3. We're going to hit the plus 300 attack to her base attack from Awakening 2, and then we're getting all the Ignore magic resistance bonuses from A3. So after a very long wait, some of these copies I've had for over half a year, we are getting my Numera a little bit higher. That's going to be plus 300 attack. This is going to be the Ignore 20% magic resistance as a standard, and then the chance to ult 5 more times, or the opportunity to ult 5 more times and bring it up to 45% as a standard after those 5 ults, which is phenomenal. So here we go, my A3 Numera. BP went up a nice little bit as well, of course, so let's get into it. I think I can probably just fast forward. We'll catch the end of the run. Maybe we'll do phase 4 together, but everything else is going to be identical. See you in a bit. All right, here we go, starting phase 2. I figure I'd just check in for a second just to say I've gotten 2 ults off so far, right? So when I do this third ult, she'll already be brought to ignoring 35% of the magic resistance for the first magic phase, the second phase total. First time she can actually deal damage. So let's see what this burst looks like. The 102 or so, then she jumps to 15 million. Yeah, it makes a difference. All right, we'll do all of phase 4 together. You guys can keep an eye over here while I fast forward it. And yeah, I think we're in for a treat. Let's actually just see. We just popped the second shield. I'm gonna ult here. She's at like 5.2, 5.3. Let's see that number. Jump 20 million. We had the Draylin boost live 20 million. Before we were seeing jumps of 8, 9, 10 million. Now we're seeing 13 to 20 million is the range I've seen so far. That is remarkable. That is so high. Okay, catch you for phase 4. My God. All right, just wrapping up phase 3. You can see we're already over 40,000 blood now. We hadn't been to that point, and that's going to be on the back of Numera's crazy damage. I think we're going to put up for sure over 150 million. It might be a lot more than that. So we'll see in 1 second. We're about to switch over. Boom. Let's see this burst. She's at 85.5, 85.6, 88, 96, 97. A little bit smaller there. No extra damage multiplier from anyone besides the morale set that Torador's in, by the way. She's already at 100 million. We still have 2 more ults to get off this phase, plus all the stuff during the vulnerable period. Another reason that other one was so huge is it was in the vulnerable period. So we had a damage boost up, and he's taking increased damage. We're well past 5 ultimates, though. So with A3 now, she's shredding the new baseline of 45% of the magic resistance. Let's see. And ult off there early with Aelin, just to make sure nothing goes awry. We can ult with Malric. It's good. Let's go there. Boom. Let's see the hit. 107, 11, 121. So a 4 jump. That was like the spikes hitting, and then the toxic explosion was 10. So it's like 14 million there total. This should be the deluge. So we got a 1 exit. Giri to parry mode. Horizon. Draylin for the damage boost. Aelin died there. Doesn't really matter because it's going to be the end of the test, but that's annoying. Let's see how much we got here on the damage increase. I'll throw it on 1x. We'll wait as long as we can. Pop. Boom. Go. We might have to delay that Draylin slightly, but let's see. Big jump. Guess it already happened when I wasn't looking, but still really, really good. We're up to 160. There's going to be the flip. 161.6 on the first attempt. I think I could probably dial it in a little bit tighter for the second test. So 161.6 on a pretty dang optimized run. Look at that. She's only 20 million off Kagiri now. 161.6. I'm going to put this here as a placeholder just so we can see, assuming it was the same, right? And then we'll change it. But if we get 161.6 again, we saw a growth of 24% damage from already the A1, which was a nice growth of about 18, 19% damage from A0. So that is pretty dang incredible. So probably at A0, we'd be somewhere like 100, 110, and maybe more like 110. So it's 50 million more damage. It's almost a boost of 50%. I mean, that is very, very significant. That being said, the burst is so good that you could probably still take that in that shield no problem with a lesser build than this at A0 if you got the whole team around her. But this is pretty remarkable stuff. Let me go in. Let me do another attempt without any extra yap into the camera. We'll see what number we put up. I'll fast forward through it and I'll catch you at the tail end. All right, here we go. Very, very end of phase 4. She's up to 160.04, so 160.0. Very, very consistent, and all the timings were there. So I think we just had a slightly better lineup on 1 burst the first time, and I mean slightly. This is very, very similar. And again, she's right near Kagiri. Good round for Kagiri, though. But 160.0 is really something, so we can update that here. The average is looking at like 160.8, so it's 23.4% growth. Now, this is one thing I wanted to key in on, right? That is very significant, especially coming from A0. But is that game-changing? Is that the reason you're going to break the shield or not? On some accounts, yes. On the majority of accounts, I don't know. I don't know. She does so much damage at A3 in Semra, content like that, right? Where you're seeing just really major, major magic resistance on the enemy, Semra, when you're facing him in Titanic Ruins. Here, because it's not as high, it is such a significant boost in magic resistance that you're ignoring, right? It's such a significant shred that we're still getting well over 20% growth, but it's not what it could be, right? And something like Semra, I'd be over 30% for sure, if not over 35%. So finally, to wrap this up, let's do our A5. Maybe let's make some predictions. I'll say mine now. You can write yours in the comments. I think she's going to ignore now another 8%, right? She's going to get that penetration. I think we're going to see a rise in damage of maybe 5 million more damage. So, I mean, that would look like 3% more, 4% more, something like that, maybe between 5 and 7. I can't expect more than that. It might even be less. So maybe she goes up to 165, 163, 167, something like that. Let's go ahead and do the awakening and let's see. Again, I'll join you guys for phase 4 here. I think we really get the whole operation at this point, and then the second run will just knock out super fast speed up mode. Thank you to my editor, Mitchell. It's gonna be A4, ignore, it says penetration plus 8%, but penetration means you're ignoring all the defense and all the magic resistance, 8%, but she doesn't deal with defense. So it's ignore magic defense, magic resistance, 8%. Let's toss in that 4th copy, and let's see. That's going to be the A4. And then for A5, this is just going to help with healing. Not so relevant for this, but I will say, actually, there's one argument for the A5. There actually is. So let me tell that to you right now as we make her A5. Let's go back to the build. And actually, this is where we can do the deeper dive into the build that I said I'd put at the end. Wicked Vengeance is going to be her best in slot by a mile, especially for content like Heal Boss 1, where the magic defense, magic resistance, and then the normal defense is lower. With the proper quads on Warlord coming out, and when people get those, maybe another content that wouldn't be the same necessarily, like for her especially, because her true damage from the Grim Thorn roots scales off of her attack, maybe Warlord in something like Semra would be more valuable. That's very TBD. You can see, definitely hunt for this if you can as you get to the late and end game. If you can get enough crit rate, you can see here 22%, 26.5%, 27%, I think this is 26%. If you can get enough that you can get her to 100% and not have to use a 5th piece for it, then you can get an amazing piece like this. Like I said, I love Soulbound Arcana on her. The thing I wanted to key in on, though, there's the ring. With the amulet, the thing I wanted to key in on for the A5 is maybe I don't even need that HP bonus, right? I'm not going to do it for the sake of consistency, but she's probably going to stay like alive now because of all the self-healing, since she has such good uptime on those Grimthorn roots. So I could put this Malric piece over here, I could put this onto Numera now, right? We're going to get another 4.5% crit damage and 137 attack. I won't do it, but functionally that is very likely to work, especially if I was running like an Orisa or something and had a little bit better healing than Draylin. This A5 might enable, a full quad stat build and not to hunt to any HP. Where personally, I feel like where she was at before, she needed a little HP. So that's why I had the 1 HP bonus roll. But we are going to keep that build. We're keeping this amulet. Just some food for thought about how the A5 is so great. And last thing about the A5, something like Malric, maybe you want her to run a lane by herself or deal with certain things. It can be a lot harder for her to die. That being said, if it's not a big baddie that she's actually keeping high uptime on the Grimthorn roots, it's not going to be that much healing, but it's at least something, or she can supplement other healing in a big way herself. So here we go. She's at A5 now. I'm hopping in. I'll catch you on phase 4. Tail end of the testing here. Thanks for sticking with me. If you appreciate this content, please do subscribe to the channel. See you in a moment. All right, here we come up now on phase 4. You can see she's at 81.1, which is fairly spot on, slightly higher. Let's see what we get done here. Here's a big burst, so she's at 81.4. Really nice there, up to 93, but nothing crazy, right? It's just, we're talking just about 12 million with the spikes burst and the toxic surge burst. Like, it's great. Is it, like, insane? I don't know. Find this out with Aelin here. Okay, go again with Numera. Big timing. From 1x. Deluge. Just broke 50k. Look at that. I mean, we easily would get the 60k in this comp now. I mean, this is a ton of damage. Numera's up to 120. Let's get the Deluge ready. Aelin almost died there. Corridor took the little thing. Definitely need to get that Orisa A1 for when I push for higher scores. Let's flip Draylin. Let's see. Let these guys take everything out. Keep an eye on that damage. Got a decent amount of time. Come on, pop that. Go. Let's see. She's at 133. 153. There's that 20 million plus the extra 3 on the end. 156. Looking pretty good. But again, actually, the damage barely moved total, right? I mean, look at this. There it goes. Switched. It actually was less damage in the end. Or actually identical. Barely more than the other stuff there. 160.2. She's getting some. It must be from the Grimthorn roots is why it's climbing a bit. But let's cut it there already. It was 160.1. when we did the switch. Might be able to tighten it up a touch, but you can see basically no change from that great run on A3, that first run. We'll take it back again, but this is kind of what I'm getting at. The A3 is a great to have. The A5 is definitely like a nice luxury for certain content, but here A3 is already basically the max you're hunting for if Abyss is your focus. And I am very much of the opinion A1 is more than enough as well once you have the gear, and frankly, A0 does still work. The A3 is awesome, as we've learned. Let's do one more run here. We'll fast forward this whole thing and keep it clean. I'll see you at the end. We'll see all the growth numbers, and we'll come to some conclusions. All right, tail end of the second test here. We'll start wrapping this whole thing up. With Draylen, where is that, about 130 now? It should be a very similar result. We might have our highest, but if we do, it's just by a touch. Pop that, perfect. Jump, 139, 154, 160. This is our highest run, but it's just gonna be by a couple million. Let's see when we switch over. 165.27. It's weird that they're counting those Grimthorn roots after. I mean, I'll let it run. You can see that is weird. I guess it's the individual little hits, but it's 165.227. So we'll call it 165.3 here. X out of this run. There we go. And pull up the stats. Yeah, we're going to do that 165.27, so 165.3. And yeah, the growth we're looking at here is like less than 2%. Let's find that average, pop that in. So this is how you read this. Going from A1 to A3, our initial test to our second round of tests, on average, we saw an improvement of 23.4% damage, very significant. Going from A1, our initial tests, to our third and final tests, the average, we went from 135.35 million to 162.7 million. We saw an increase of 24.8%. Now that's nice, but if you actually look at the increase going from this A3 testing to the A5 testing, going from the 160.8 to the 162.7, we saw an increase in damage of 1.2%, close to a rounding error. So I think this really cements that the A3 is amazing, not as amazing as many people might think for this specific content, but unbelievably good in general. And then undeniably, the A4 barely moves the needle, and the A5 doesn't even help with damage. Now, if we did listen to the A5 right, and now we have some healing, now we have some flexibility, we took that HP piece off, how much then would the damage go up? Obviously, it'd be more, but, you know, an extra 200 attack and 4.5% crit damage, or whatever I said, that is not going to be another 10% damage. Maybe it's another % or 2. So regardless, you're talking low single digits as you go from A4 to A5. Numera is completely phenomenal. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. Very excited that I finally got her awakened. And yeah, as I mentioned, if you do appreciate content like this is very high effort. I've been filming for almost an hour and a half straight, not counting the prep, not counting the building, not counting the testing, not counting everything. So take the time to subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really is the easiest, freest way to help me. Thank you guys. I hope you get a Numera. I hope you get a couple copies of her so you get a couple awakenings. I appreciate you watching the channel. Share with your mother. I've been Fastidious, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.